Alright, welcome back. Nan-alive again. This is my next leg of this journey. I'm not sure exactly what I covered on the first leg. I don't think I covered anything after leg and a half. It was pretty miserable. Anyway, I made it to my rendezvous point. Had a meal at a restaurant with my wife. Got some resupply. This is my second, would have been my third leg if I didn't push it so hard the first day, which I shouldn't have. But anyway, here I am again. My plan is to hike up these abandoned railroad tracks for about a 70-mile journey. I started in a cool little town, southwest of here. The first leg was fully heading east. Then I turned north for half a day. Miserable. But my destination, though, it might still be snow. There's snow there now, but it's been receding like significantly every day. I've already found a lot of cool stuff on these tracks. I wish I could have brought a dog, but I just didn't want to risk the sliver and the cut paws. And I don't know how much cattle will be crossing, or cattle dogs that you know, guard dogs or whatever. So I decided to do it solo. No friends, no dogs. And just numero uno here. Checkers. There's two of them running off the hill there. Anyway, it's pretty. I've seen a lot of cool stuff. I'm looking forward to a lot more. I don't know. Hi-ho. This is going to be great. Stay tuned. Bunch of quails crossing the tracks. Oh, there they go. Alright, so I just got decoyed by a killdeer trying to distract me from her nest, and I was paying close attention to where I was stepping because I didn't want to step on it, and maybe it'd be cool to see it if I found it. So I was walking a ways, not looking up where I was going, and then I finally look up and check this out. Obviously the bones are scattered, but there's one, and there's a bloated one behind that canopy there. And there's bones all over, and I can see the horns on the back of that skull there. And then I also saw some kind of a varmint way over there. I don't think we have marmots around here, but it was kind of about that size. It wasn't a bird. It was something that ran on four legs with brown fur. There is a bird over there, but it wasn't that. All right, I'll follow up this creek, find that cattle road, and keep heading upstream. I hope. Kind of a nice spot. Obviously the cows stand right there to get out of the sun occasionally, or a storm, whatever. All right, this is going to be a lot more pleasant traveling than the railroad. Yeah, this is nice. Awesome. There's a bench and a rest spot. Nice. There's a marmot, which is probably the type of animal I saw earlier. There he is on that rock. Also known as a whistle pig or a rock chuck. Yeah, this part of the terrain is super pretty. I like it a lot. Walking on this cattle road is way better than walking on the tracks. There were some cows mooing over there on the hill, and I think one of them might be aggressive or in heat or something. The breeze off the river is pretty nice. Like I'm walking, look at the ground, and the shadow goes by, and I look up, there's a vulture flying by. It's super cool. Alright, I gotta start paying attention because I'm getting close to these cows. So, hi-ho. Got some cows on that part of the hill, and then some deer on that part of the hill. And they're just like on the other side of the holler. I can smell them right now. Pretty cool. So I've come up on this road and there's some deer crossing and they haven't seen me. So one of them's on the road heading away. There's one more. There she is. There was two more. They both ran up the hill here. Let's see what I'm recording with this glare. I think I counted 9 that were earlier with us. Well, there's a lot. Holy smokes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. At least 10 there. And there's some more. It looks like, yeah. Oh, wow. I'm sure you can't see them through the camera, but there's a bunch of them right there in those rocks and bushes. And then, oh, those ones are coming running this way. Huh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-ish over there. I don't really count this as a dead cow, but it was at one time. There's that. Looks like owl pellets in its nostrils. That's pretty cool. Oh, pale. From the old tin bending days. It's cool. So I just checked out that spot. That's nice right there, running the streets. It looks nice and soft. It would have been an awesome spot to camp. So I'm gonna try to ford this creek back up to the cattle road. That thicket back there was really thick, and I wanted to check out that spot. So that's what I did. I have another couple of miles to get to my campsite. That's about how thick that stuff was back there. Might be a good chance to resupply water. I just don't really need to right now. And I think I'm going to be camping by a creek. Yeah, so a lot of this trek has been a lot of doing this. This is actually way better because the gravel's over top of the wood. But the spots where it was kind of low, you couldn't get an even stride to stay on the wood. You had to change the strides. And they were always a little bit farther than comfortable. Alright, so I'm going to head around here for a bit. And then eventually I'll get back up on that cattle trail. But I'll probably do that around that thicket up there. Maybe I'll go through that thicket and do it on the other side. Alrighty, hi-ho. This is the way we go. Hi-ho. 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 It's off to work we go. Hi-ho. 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 There's some nice shady trees here. Looks like I might be crawling under. Okay, I can tell that would be a low crawl, a lot of ducking, and a bunch of getting my backpack snagged. And I don't really want to saw. I mean, I could saw like one piece right there, then break the rest, but I'll just go around this way. Man, it totally stripped that tree. I'm going to keep heading up to this tracks until I see a way to access the cattle road again. Oh, I need to mark that spot. This river has a lot of kayakers. Right now it's more of the hardcore kayakers. Occasionally I'm hearing them cheer for their buddy that just did their rapid and holding their paddle up and all that stuff, and it's pretty fun. You hear somebody scream and then you look and find out that it's just a beginner that did a big rapid, you know, and everybody's fine. I'm wearing my hat funny because the sun is on my neck and it's preventing me from becoming a redneck. it's just a lot easier on the feet on this road. And also I'm getting occasional shade and better wind, I think. But in the train tracks, it was kind of harder on the feet and more sun exposure. It's a cool spot to go do a picnic at. Looks like probably the rafters maybe pull out there sometimes. It's a hammock spot. You know, I might lay down and rest right here actually. Let me, yeah, I'm just gonna lay down and rest right here. What kind of snack do I want? Ah, a couple of those. Some of those. This feels good to get off my feet. Maybe I should take off my boots. So this trek has been pretty cool. I like the first leg a lot. The second leg I did not like. I just better skip it. And this leg has been really good so far. Of course, the novelty of the first one was super great. I saw like, I don't know, 7 dead cows, a group of like 18 deer, a group of 6 deer, and one of those split off going with my flow, but I kept coming back to it and then spooking it, and it would do this little show-off jump thing. But I was on, he was going slightly downhill to make himself look, you know, a little more macho or something, and that's why he kept staying ahead of me instead of going uphill and getting around the back of me. He'd go uphill a little bit, and I'd spook him, then he'd go back downhill. So it was like zigzagging in front of me instead of just getting up behind me like the other ones did. But it's super pretty. This cattle road is really nice walking on. I mean, a barefoot guy would love this, how the texture is and stuff. I mean, I'm wearing boots, but barefoot on this would be great. The train tracks would not be great. Tell by that wind that it's going to be cold tonight, and I can see the snow across the way. So. Alright, hi ho! Looks like those rocks over there look like tombstones, kinda. This part doesn't seem like much, but this has been the steepest part besides the off-trailing that I was going back up to the road. But I think this is the cattle road, and it's pretty steep right here. I just got caught in a branch, but this has been some pretty hard work. It's been the hardest work so far. My legs are burning, and lungs are doing okay. I think I see where I need to be over there. Just not sure the most practical way to get there. It's probably going to be just follow the old cow road. Definitely felt a temperature drop. That part was steep, and this part's a relief. This would be fun illustrating if I had the need for it, because these pine needles are real soft. if I could find a good run without rocks. But I don't really need to do that. At least not yet. It's a pretty view. Snow in the back hills, sunshine on these forehills, the river coming right at me, peeking through the trees. Oh, jeez. Whoa. Let go of my backpack. Turn this. It's almost like it's been groomed. It looks like that meadow over there has been mowed. It obviously hasn't. Besides by the cattle and deer. I have a couple more bends in the river until my campsite comes up. I'm guessing under 2 miles, but maybe 2 miles. Gotta get to it, I'll let you go. It's continuing to get thick. Well, this is a little rough, but it's definitely not as sucky as the walking out in the sun on the railroad tracks. Man, I want to get back up to that road, but it's just so overgrown. Stop, let go of my backpack. Kind of considering I want to make my way down to the railroad tracks and not have to fight these thickets. It's harder to see the turns in the river from this high. Probably gonna find a spot to take a break here in a second. My legs are burning. The cow made that adventurers, unless it was deer, then I can understand. Like, it's hard to imagine being 700 pounds and doing that. Alright, this is probably more boring to watch than it is to do. So I'm gonna hang up, I guess, and then that's not doable. Forward's not doable. Maybe we can go up. Up is probably just as this is getting again. Could push through that brush, or I could maybe go up here. This is easier. Maybe easier to get in a hairier situation. Alright, I'm gonna let go of the phone and get to navigating. Haha. Back onto Cattle Road. Oh, yay. Oh, by the way, as I'm crawling under this branches, I only fell once on that hill, going through that thicket. So, I guess it makes me almost an expert. Where's my stuff at? There it is. I like my stuff to be closer to my back and not sticking up as high for reasons like that. But it's just a matter of the best way to pack it, and it only gives those two disadvantages. One, going under things when I have to lean forward, it is pretty high coming up my back. And two, there is some weight on the back side of it, which makes my center of gravity back a little bit. What the hell is that? Some kind of a half beetle. I mean, it kind of looks like an ant. Some kind of a queen ant. Everything looks like an ant besides I guess it's the abdomen. Yeah, I've never seen a queen ant looking like that. It's probably the biggest one I've ever seen. On top of that, there's a way. There's no right way, but there is a better way. Alright, coming up to a meadow that I saw earlier. So, I remember seeing this from a ways back, thinking it looked kind of pretty over here. Aww. Aw, cliffed out. Cliffed out, come on. Oh, jeez. I'm going to go uphill. Maybe, yeah, I'll probably find a way to get up above this landslide. Easy. Yeah. Okay. Alright. So I'm just gonna head around the rim of this landslide. I'll probably try to find a way to get back up to the cattle road or the tracks. Oh shit. Okay. So on the other side of there, there's some cliffs. Which probably means I'm gonna have to go down to the tracks. Which also probably means spending a lot of energy going uphill, which is the wrong way right now. But it is pretty. This is where I would like to sit right here on these rocks and pet Lakota. This place is nice and tranquil. Might lay down in the middle of this meadow and take a nap. Maybe I'll glissade down steep crap and go off a cliff and catch myself on those tracks. Alright, I'm sitting right here. I'm sitting right here. I think heading downhill, I'll probably be able to get back to that cattle road, and it'll probably come to a dead. Ooh, there's a fox. He's coming up the cattle trail that I was gonna go on. Doesn't see me. Right behind that bush right now, coming up toward me. There he is, center screen. He's coming right at me, but he's surely gonna go beneath me. He might, there he is. He might go on the path right in front of me. It's really soft looking. Yeah, he saw me. It's a pretty fox. Foxy fox. So I'm gonna head down to that cattle trail that fox started coming up on. And then I think I'm gonna get into a cliff where that gulch is over there. And I'll probably have to shimmy on down to the tracks and go past it. And I might have to stay on the tracks for a ways because it looks really steep. There's a fox across the next hauler. It's pretty quick. Swift red fox. But that's fine. I think I'm probably a mile from where I'm intending to camp. So that'll be great. And I won't be in the sun the rest of the time because you can see on the hill over there, the shadow is from the hill I'm on. So I'll be in this shadow the rest of the time, which means I don't gotta wear my hat or my gloves. And I could wear my sunglasses if I want to, but I'm not gonna need to. Alrighty, hi-ho. Back to the cattle road, investigating if this is gonna cliff me out again. Well, that's pleasant. Obviously that's man-made rock retaining wall. I can hear water, I don't see it. I kind of want to investigate it, but not really. Well, maybe it's a good source to replenish water with. Ha, that's awesome. I like it. This little hollow's pretty good. This would be a good break if it was sunny, and this would make a shady corridor to walk down. This is probably where that fox just came, actually. Well, there's another. Oh, that was probably under the snow, and who knows what happened. So whenever you're crossing a cattle gate, it's very, very valuable, very important. You gotta shut the gate. Very rude and inconsiderate not to. And that could cause a lot of trouble. Not just for the animal that got out, but for the traffic wrecks that it causes. The loss of money that that farmer might have. It could be their pet, you know, one of their favorite cattle, cows, goats, whatever it is, and all because somebody was too lazy to shut the gate or didn't shut it properly. Make sure you always shut the gate. And you've probably noticed that of all the cattle you've seen from the highway, most of them's not on the highway, because most people do shut the gate because they're not inconsiderate. Shut the gate. Kind of tranquil and pretty. Scapula. This trip has really gotten me appreciating the loss of farmers. I mean, I've almost seen like a dozen dead cows and skeletons so far. So, and it's only, I don't know how many miles it's been, but I'm sure this ranch is lots and lots of square miles, and I've only been on a line. So I'm sure, you know, up in the hollers and stuff, there's more. And you know, each one, you know, took time and care and vaccines and all the stuff that the rodeo guys have to deal with. And then the farmers, yeah, losing one is it's got to be some kind of a percentage loss for each one. And so far, I've seen a bunch. So I'm ascending right now, and there's the low road there that's growing out more. Seems to be the one that's been maintained more recently. Always more to find. Alright, so got a tick on me. It's the only one I've found or noticed, but I'm gonna kill that guy and carry on. I heard some turkey gobble from over that direction. Not sure how far, but probably not in this close part of the meadow, but maybe behind those trees or on that ridge, or maybe back into the trees. Man, this adventure would be pretty sweet on a horse. There's just a few spots where the thickets are maybe a little too much for a horse, but if you had like a pack saw or a hatchet or something, you could probably trim it up for him. So I don't really want to go spook those deer. I might cut down to the railroad tracks and just go around them. Oh, spooked them. And maybe that's some turkeys across the way in their field over there. It's hard to tell from this distance. Could be crows, could be nothing. What a beautiful place. Back on the tracks again. I decided that the cattle road I was on was going through somebody's property pretty close to their residence and stuff, and there's, maybe they wouldn't care, but didn't really want to intrude or whatever. And plus, they might have some large breed cattle dogs or guard dogs, a pack of 4 Kangals coming at me. I guess I got my bear spray handy, but that probably wouldn't turn out okay. So I just figure stay away from the residents, get off their property, and just go around. So I'm probably within a mile. I'm gonna guess a little over a half a mile-ish. This is probably the last bend on the river up here. Before I start looking for my turnoff from my camp, see if it's suitable. Probably will be, but I don't really know. And if it is, to take a load off. And if it isn't, probably just catch my breath and reassess. See if there's another spot up farther, or if I need to go back to that last spot that was decent. Probably just, it would add like maybe a mile or a mile and a half onto my trek, which sometimes is necessary. Or I could come down and camp right here by that tree, by that boulder, or something. It's probably hard to access the water from here. I hear some rushing water. Whoa! I wonder if there was a bridge, if I would have went on that cattle road longer, if there was a bridge to cross this. The world may never know. Well, if I have to come back and camp here, that will be fine. So all this branches I'm cutting, it's all fat wood. Smells really nice. That'll be my stack after I process it. And that's my setup. I'll probably just do a fire, probably right on that dirt hill, stomp it out or something. Woohoo, Nelly. First. So when I'm cutting firewood, I like to leave the knots in one piece instead of cut them, because the big knots make bigger coals. Not necessarily that this is going to make big coals, but something like that. Okay, so I'm going to be trying a different kind of tinder. I'm going to use this thing to actually start a fire yet. Busted knuckles already. Oh wow, that's the way to do it. Go. This is not catching as easy as I expected it to. I'm sure it'll work eventually. Switch hands. There I go. Okay, so now I know that my striker is opposite-handed. So this is my first time using a Sawyer Squeeze water filter, and also my first time using that twine thing for tinder, and actually the first time using this specific Leatherman as a striker. I use my Leatherman Surge very often, but this new one is like it's like a knockoff version, but it's like a left-handed version. But the Sawyer Squeeze, I'm kind of happy with at least how small it is and how murky this water is and how clear it's coming out. Pretty happy with that. But of course there's no way for it to vent, so I'm having to just let some air back into it, get it back to squeezable, and then keep going. I can definitely see why a lot of people prefer this method. As far as the bulk and the weight, it seems to be superior as far as light, fast and light, ultralight. But it's really hard to beat a Sterapin if your water's already clear, as far as how easy it is. this is probably, I don't know, it's the ease is comparable to a Grail, but it's a lot smaller and lighter. The full bottle is filling up my large canteen cup. Whoa, refreshing. All right, I am going to chow down on a big old fat meal here. I don't know if you can see it, but there is a tick on me. See if I can get that fucker. I'm gonna need a third hand or something. He's still there, so it's really hard to feel if you can't really see what you're grabbing. Try to hang this maybe. Okay, there. Free hand. There you are, you fucker. There, fucker right there. You gonna burn. Oh, even just that's even better. Holy smokes. Another couple layers. It's about 2:30 in the morning. Got super cold. Like 38 degrees. It just got pretty cold and I had to pee. But I had a couple of those dreams. It was like I thought I heard a girl's voice, and then that incorporated into my dream of there was a lady that was, I don't know, she had walked by or something, and I woke up and she was on the other side of my tarp. After trying to talk to her, like she wouldn't like respond. Apparently I didn't say good morning politely enough or something. I think she must have been like one of the folks that live out this way, and she was launching her raft, and she had parked her raft and all her rafting gear like on my shelter, and it had collapsed, and that's partly why it took me a while to get up. Anyway, she was really like dismissive and stuff. I guess I realized it was a dream, and I started waking up, and it was the same kind of like struggle to wake up, stuck in my sleeping bag. Have to really fight the sleep paralysis to get up and get out. But it was true, it was a lady, and she was actually not so dismissive, and she lived up here, and she did have her raft stuff, and I happened to camp right by where she launches her raft in, and she had her whole fucking family, and they had like a fucking 10-pack raft and all kinds of gear, and it was on my tarp, and I was starting to pack up and put shit away, and by the time I got my tarp cleared from underneath her stuff, I woke up for real. And there's no lady. It was really cold and I had to pee. So I stoked around the coals, and I found some embers, and I threw some pine needles on there. And I got them started to put the last of the wood on. And that was nice. Now I'm going to bed for the rest of the night.